Hello everyone, it's Leo and Merodon is here. I am the happiest person. I am already loving her so much. And in this video, we're going to talk about episode 12 from You and Idol PreCure, Merodon's debut. Girl, what a debut this was. This episode was chaotic. It was fun. It was dramatic. Baby Merodon's drama. I love it. But this episode also brought us lots of interesting facts that we're going to talk about. So there's a lot to talk about, so let's start. First, let's talk about the Sakura tree from Hanamichi Town and its connection to Kiraki Land. So we learned from Tanaka that the Sakura tree is basically the point of connection between the two lands, Kiraki Land and Hanamichi Town. That tree is where someone that comes from Kiraki Land to Hanamichi Town arrives in. So whenever they leave Kiraki Land, they traverse through space and time, mysterious, and then they arrive in a peach in that tree. That's what we saw in the first episode with Purirun, even though we did not see the peach appearing there. We just saw the peach in the river. And now we see it again with Merodon. We saw that last week with Merodon. And now we see Merodon very sad. And girl, she is a poet. I just love that starting scene of the episode with Merodon all dramatic with the sakura petals falling down, and she is just declaiming a poem about her sadness and her longing to be with Purirun. I love that. It's so overly dramatic. I just vibe. And we have Tanaka showing the peach to both Purirun and Uta. We have Kyu-chan smelling the peach as well. Very cute. Oh my god. And then they start talking, and Purirun quickly understands. Oh, it might be Merodon who arrived here. Why? Because both Purirun and Merodon escaped from Dark Ine's attack. They are the only ones from Kiraki Land that were not affected by Dark Ine. We do not know why, but we do know now that Merodon was together with Purirun. And it's important because Picarine, the queen, chose Purirun to come to Earth to try and find the idol PreCure. So, judging by Picarine's action, when it comes to Purirun and Merodon, Purirun is the most reliable. Purirun is the most reliable one. I am sorry, I have to laugh because, girl, Purirun being the most reliable one is kind of a joke on its own already, but it's already amazing nonetheless. I love that. And let me just say, at the start of the episode, when we saw that little dog barking to the peach, I thought, oh my god, is this a wonderful PreCure reference? Joking, obviously. And so Purirun reminds herself of Merodon, and she thinks that Merodon must have been really lonely all by herself in Kiraki Land. And it's funny because no one has mentioned Merodon so far. And I kind of understand because Purirun has no brains whatsoever. And I mean, if Purirun is the smartest one out of the two, imagine Merodon. Girl, the chaos this is gonna ensue. But Merodon has arrived. We don't really know how and why, because Picarine said that there was only enough energy to send one of them to Hanamichi Town, and so Purirun was the chosen. And now Merodon was able to open the gate, or the gate opened to Merodon. We just don't know why. I there was no explanation about this in this episode, and I wonder if there is ever going to be an explanation about this. I really hope there is an explanation for her to leave by herself. Let's wait and see what the future of You and Idol entails to us, because now the present is very interesting. And so Purirun tells Uta about Merodon, and they go search. They start searching for her, and Merodon starts searching for Purirun as well. She goes in town and she's crazy about Purirun, and she does not even care that everyone is watching, everyone is posting on social media. Kokoro sees it, And she tells Uta, and then Uta tells her that it's Merodon, which is someone that Purirun was talking about. Purirun recognizes Merodon in the pictures. They go after. One of the things that I am really liking about You and Idol is the linearity of the show in terms of how they remember what they've been doing in the show so far. So when Merodon sees a picture of Purirun, she thinks it's the real Purirun and she flies very fast. And it's actually the ad that both Cure Idol and Cure Wink recorded in episode 5, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, they remember what they've been doing in the show so far, and that's very cool. Really like it. And they even used the same style. They could have redrawn that picture, but they used the Aoyama style in that poster. That's very cool. Like, girl, I know the Aoyama style is very divisive. It's very polemic, but it's there. He's a legend in the PreCure universe. You can't say that he's not. And then Purirun finds like this marshmallow that is black and pink. Black pink with Merodon's colors. They're basically Merodon's colors. And she thinks it's Merodon. She hits the glass as well. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, there is a marshmallow for Purirun and a marshmallow for Merodon. Are those going to be their Cure colors, or is it just a regular marshmallow? If they are going to be Cures. If you know, you know. And after this, we see Merodon also seeing that she sees Purirun, the real Purirun. She tries to get close to Purirun, and then we have a boy catching Merodon, and then Merodon finds the marshmallow. Girl, it's so funny. Like, everything is super chaotic as this season is. But then Merodon finds herself in a different spot, and she kind of has a little heroic moment by talking to this little girl who was very scared by not having her mom close to her. And, you know, Merodon is able to talk a little bit with her. We can see a bit of pride in Merodon's attitude. She's like, oh, you're a talking rabbit. And Merodon's like, no, I am Merodon. You know, she is proud of her Sona. And I love how spiky Merodon is. I did not notice that Merodon had those spiky cheeks. I mean, I noticed that, but I thought it was like going to be a little puffy, but they're like really spiky and they give her a little edge. I love it. Girl, Merodon's design is top tier fairy design to me in PreCure. Like, those magical creatures in PreCure, they're always very cute, but Merodon, girl, it's just everything, and her colors in the show. I mean, this episode was a treat visually, because visually it was really, really pretty. And after the girl found her mom again, we see Merodon being captured by a crow and taken far away up. And while she is there, hung by the tree, we can see a little bit of a flashback between her and Purirun. And this is an imagery that they use a lot in PreCure. Purirun is in the sun, Merodon is in the shadows. Merodon is reading a book. I feel like this might come into play related to her character as in a poet, a character that speaks in a different manner, that has the usage of different words. I feel like this is going to be a little important part of her character. And, you know, a reader, someone who likes reading, someone who loves books. I think that's an interesting character trait. And Purirun takes her away from the shadows into the light. It feels to me that Merodon is kind of a loner, and maybe not because she likes being by herself. We don't really know. We see very little, but Purirun is the one to bring her to light. At that moment, she blushed. Purirun played with her ribbon a little bit. That was also a very nice touch, and Merodon was super happy. Probably from then on, Merodon never really left Purirun's side anymore. And the girls were desperately searching for Merodon, and then they find that little girl that says that Merodon is up on that tree. And the girls are like, what are we gonna do? First they tell the girl, leave Merodon to us. We're going to get her. We're going to find her. And then they're like, what are we going to do? How are we going to climb that? And then Purirun has disappeared. And Purirun was flying very high. And it's interesting. The fairies, they're able to fly, but for them to fly very high, it's a hard thing. We could see in this episode that Purirun was having a hard time flying very high. But Purirun was able to find Merodon. Merodon was super happy. Merodon started crying. She hugged Purirun very tightly, and then they fell. And then it's just You and Idol PreCure comedy. It's peak. It's great comedy every single week. It's just You and Idol. Girl, it's crazy. And it was just so funny the way they were falling and the girls were desperate, like trying to get them. And then they were like, oh, we just remembered we can fly. I loved it. And the reaction of the girls, it was impeccable. Loved it as well. And then we get to the villain's side. We see the villains in distress, especially Chokirine, who is the boss. They are desperate because they failed. And Chokirine is angry at the other two because they failed last time. But like, girl, you should be angry at yourself too because you were part of it. What is going on? And then she's like, if Dark Ine discovers this, she's going to be very angry. And Dark Ine, for the first time, we could at least listen to her voice. And her voice actor is Sato Rina, who is the voice of Sailor Mars from Sailor Moon Crystal. Very nice. And so we see Dark Ine's shadow, and she comes from the shadows. That's so cool. She comes from the shadows, which is the contrary of the light, because every time we're talking about Kiraki land, it's like the land of light. We're talking about Kira from people emitting light. And the Cures, they are the harbingers of light, basically, in this season. And the villains are the shadows. And we see Dark Ine coming from the shadows of the three villains and then of the three members of Team Chokiri, and then she just comes up. I love her silhouette. I think she's going to be extremely cool, but she was not angry at all. At least she didn't seem to be angry. She was like, I see everything that's been going on. So she knows that they've been losing. It's not like I thought that Chokirine was trying to hide it from her, but she can't hide it from her, because she is seeing it all. And she didn't really seem to care about it. You know, she was just like, okay, I see it all. I see you lost, but now I'm going to give you a new power. And that's what she does. She changes the crystals that they have, and they are now star-shaped crystals. Cool. And then Team Chokiri is ready to attack. But before we go on, since today is Merodon's debut, let's talk about an idol group that debuted very recently in today's Idol Corner. In today's Idol Corner, we'll talk about Rosie Chronicle. Since today's episode is Merodon's debut, it is fitting we'll talk about a group that debuted recently. Rosie Chronicle is the newest Hello Project idol group. Comprised of 9 members, the group was named in 2024 and had its major debut earlier this year with their first single released in March 2025. The name of the group represents the hope that the history of Rosie Chronicle will be passed down from generation to generation, like a chronicle. Since it's a new group, it's the perfect time to start following their journey. Rosie Chronicle doesn't have many songs, but their first single is really cool. Check out some of those songs. Heirashai Nippon de Aimashou. Ubu to Zuru. 8-bit Kata Omoi. Rosie Chronicle is really cute, and I really wanted to bring it here together with Merodon's debut in the show. They are such an adorable group, and it's been nice following them. It's very nice to follow an idol group from the get-go. And now, continuing on the episode, we have a little bit more on Merodon. So first, Merodon discovers that the girls have been living with Purirun, especially Uta, have been living with Purirun, and she gets extremely angry. She gets extremely jealous. And in one side, I do understand the fact that Maroron has been all by herself all this time. And on the other side, we have Purirun enjoying life, having fun, being happy. But it wasn't really the case. It was just like, okay, they are with Purirun. I should be the one to be with Purirun. That is her mindset. And that was how she was feeling. And then there was all this fire. And Kokoro even says something like, oh, she's jealous. I love the reaction of those characters. They are really cool. I love you and Idol so much. Then she gets hungry and she's like, I'm not eating. Because she's proud. As we said before, she is proud, baby. And then there is the gummies, the fortune-telling gummies, and when she gets the gummy with 2 hearts, she's like, baby, it's just me and you, Purirun. It's me and you, honey. And one thing that I forgot to mention is that she calls Purirun Netama, which is a very endearing and very cute way of calling a sister. And the subtitles, they've used the word sissy for this, but there were other moments in this episode that she called her ne, which is another cute way of calling a sister. But after she calls Purirun, she uses this term for Purirun a couple of times. They ask her if she is the younger sister of Purirun. And they use the word imoto, which means younger sister in Japanese. And she gets pissed. She does not like this word, which is something a little confusing because, I mean, I don't understand. Is she not really Purirun's sister? This is something that has been said in her character profile in the website and also in social media, like official social media from PreCure. Does she dislike the term younger sister? She doesn't like being seen as the younger sister? Or maybe she is not the younger sister. Maybe she is the older sister. And she did not like that observation at all. Or maybe they're twins. They were born at the same time. We don't really know. I wonder, I feel like they're throwing lots of leads and they're just going to touch on them later on. So this is a very interesting tactic. Because how did she leave Kiraki Land? We don't know. Why was Purirun chosen? Maybe because Purirun is the most reliable one out of the two. Why doesn't she like being called the younger sister? We don't know. So lots of mysteries being shown here. And while they were in this debate, we have Zakuri appearing and creating a new monster, which is not Makuranda anymore. They're called Kurayamida. And now they are stronger. The cures, the girls, they see that they are stronger. And then they get ready, they transform. In today's episode, we have the group pose. We have the roll call. We are wonderful PreCure. And then they do the group pose. The group pose is very similar to the group poses we've been having in Wonderful PreCure so far. Each one doing their heart pose. They each have their heart pose and they do it in lots of different scenarios in the show and out of the show in promo images as well. So nothing really new, but I like the roll call, like the way they put up their hands, just like in the opening, very similar. And they start the battle. And I feel like today's battle was probably one of the coolest battles we've had so far in UN Idol. I've been loving the action scenes from UN Idol. They're very fun. This one is, I don't know if I think this is the best one because we have episode 2. I really liked the action scene in episodes 1, 2, and 3 were really amazing in this sense, but this one was also a lot of fun. Kurayamida seems to be a little stronger, but they were able to showcase a wide range of abilities. And girl, one thing I'm loving is how Cure Wink kicks a lot. Oh, episode 4 was very cool too. I loved episode 4, the battle in episode 4. Cure Wink kicking. Girl, she was not able to land the kick, but the movement was there, baby. But they were not really having like a hard time with Kurayamida. They were not like super beat or anything. They're super strong when it comes to the monsters of this season so far. Team Chokiri didn't really put up a fight like so far. They didn't really bring like this super battle power. The cures have been like really overwhelming them. And one of the bombs was going to hit both Purirun and Merodon, and Kura Idol was able to save them. It's a build up to Merodon trusting those girls, because obviously it's not going to be easy. We know Merodon is jealous of them because they have been spending time with Purirun. And after that scene, which was very nice, like the way Kura Idol's face appeared at that scene was everything. And that was a moment in which Merodon could really understand what you and Idol PreCure really entails and the power of the Idol PreCures. And then they were able to use their minor attacks in very nice ways. And I loved how Wink used her shield this time. I loved it. It was like a sticker and it was cool. Very nice. And when they were going to go and defeat the Kurayamida, what happened was that Kura Idol was going to use her solo finisher, her solo performance, but she couldn't. The Kurayamida stood up. He was not sat down for the performance, baby. And they were like, okay, if you couldn't do it by yourself, let's do it as a team. And they performed Try Torio Dreams. Oh my God, I love PreCure High Emotion so much. It's already one of my favorite group attacks from PreCure. I think it's already my favorite. I love this attack so much. I love the Trio Dreams performance. Oh my God. It's everything to me. And they could defeat the Kurayamida very easily. I just want to mention one thing. The Kurayamida this episode was created because a guy was on a vending machine, and the vending machine had a gacha. Gachas in vending machines? Girl, that's wild. That is wild to me. And so after that, they were all in Cafe Glitter. They were back to Cafe Glitter, this time with Merodon. For the first time, Merodon arrived in Cafe Glitter. And Purirun did a little ensemble in Merodon's hair, and it was a disaster. It's just going to be like me trying to play with Merodon. Girl, I'm going to be just like Purirun for sure. I already know it. And Merodon was super happy, and the girls were like, girl, this ain't it. And then Uta did one, and Merodon was flawless. Oh my God, how cute Merodon was. And Merodon loved it. Merodon loved seeing it in the mirror, which is like, girl, no. The one that my Netama did, the one that my Sissy did was way better. Way better. And by the way, you three are my rivals. And the girls were like, what is going on here? I love their faces. Oh my God, the facial expressions, always so on point. And the episode ended with Merodon agreeing to stay in Cafe Glitter as her house because she wants to stay with Purirun. And everyone was happy. The ending photo was super, super adorable. Oh my God. And I finished this episode very happy as well. I had high hopes, high expectations for Merodon's debut. It was very different from what I was expecting, but I love it. I love how Merodon's character is. It's definitely going to be a build-up until she trusts the idol cures. I feel like today she saw Purirun chanting and fan servicing the cures, like she was rooting for them with the light sticks. And now for her to do that, it's going to be a little journey. And I'm curious to see that journey for Merodon. And she's definitely going to build trust with Uta. We can already see a little bit of that. I hope there is moments of her with Kokoro, moments of her with Uta, with Nana, because we see that with Purirun. Purirun had her moments with each of the characters as well. And I hope that Merodon has it too. Very, very excited. And next week, it seems that there's going to be a sports event, and they're going to be rooting with the Kiraki lights, which is the light sticks. And I feel like that is probably when Merodon is going to start understanding more about those light sticks. I'm very curious for next week. I'm very curious for May, because after May, something huge is happening. If you know, you know. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. Loved this episode. Loving so much. This season is being like a huge present. I am loving every second of you and Idol PreCure. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member here on YouTube, on Patreon, on Throne, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. I'm going to try to be a poet like Merodon in the future. Very hard, especially not in your native language. Oh my God. Anyways, this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.